So this is my friend Heather, also psychic, also starseed by trade. I wanted to recap Mount Shasta in a way I haven't fully done it. I attempted to do it with different people, and it did not really work out the way I imagined it to work out. But I want to tell people is the basic thing for the Shasta experience that she has witnessed. And how many people in the group we had? What, Jesse, Jeff?
One. Well, you mean up there, 6 of us.
So we were 6, but not all 6 unfortunately are here. So one being is here. So we will recap even what I have missed is on what happened. So I start with the beginning, and you just interject when you feel inspired or you have stuff, or maybe something is triggered that is dormant. So I remember us sitting by the fireplace, and it's like you have ants in your pants, and I kind of felt like we were telepathically already directed. This stuff was already coming in so gentle that we didn't even know what was going on, and we felt like you, and you, let's take a little hike. And and all of you said we gotta go with Ra. So
we have video of that day too.
yeah. I don't even know.
We're like, we're going with Papa Ra that day.
Yeah.
Up the mountain.
Yeah. So, and this is the fantastic part of making contact and really having the experience. And this is like in physical, where it takes place sober, without any weird or mind-altering things, mind you, because it is don't blame it on what people take or experience. It's the experience when it becomes physical, and a group of people see the same thing and agree on seeing the same thing. We're not all insane. I don't believe that. So,
and especially on Mount Shasta, we're already going to be in a super heightened state there.
Yeah, I also believe that this entire area, Mount Shasta, top the Panther Meadows, is controlled by them.
Absolutely.
Whoever is there, this entire ring, because every time I go through the ring with my phone, everything in my phone goes upside down, and you think you're cross-eyed, and then it structures itself, and then I'm in, and I know it's a couple of miles before the top. Something gets changed. They're changing something.
The frequency changes.
Yeah,
as you go up.
And so the mountain is not really the mountain. So tourists that go up there, they don't really feel anything, or people that go up there get lost and get into trouble and have any experience, but that has to do with your density level. Sorry to say that you're too dense to experience. So, without further ado, we're sitting by the fireplace. All of us feel that together we have to walk up the mountain.
At the campsite.
At the campsite.
Was staying at.
And I was still trying to find that spot where it happened, and I don't know if I found it. I will go back there again.
Panther Meadows, our campsite?
Panther Meadows, the way we hiked back out.
We'll go up next time, I'll show you.
Yeah, before the ship came. It's like very... So basically we hiked up as if remote controlled. And
we all felt the call.
Yeah, we all felt like a call, and we all walked up there. We were not out there for hunting UFOs or sightings. That wasn't even in the spirit. So the natural way of... We were guided up there, and then I don't know who was first. We said, this is the spot. Let's rest here.
I can't remember. It could have been Jesse, but we all kind of were like, yep, this is it. Just felt like home.
Yeah, and Elise, like one of the members, one of the females, ran ahead. She said she wanted to run further. She was called back. Remember?
And 2 other, I think it was Jeff and Aber, that had gone out ahead, and they were called to come back to where we were. It was just you, me, Elise, and Jess, and I think the boys came back and met us at that exact same spot.
And the boys that left us had no idea where we would stop because they took another path. But somehow, intuitively, they were all called back to this one spot, and we already sat in place. And the place was kind of like, almost like a royal rock that we would sit on, as if it was made. Like,
beautiful.
Like Flintstones furniture.
Goosebumps,
Everything was just like set. And I'm like, that was also peculiar. Why does this look so like it's a set for us, like it's like made for us? And then we sat down, and I want to see what you got. I heard a rumble in the sky.
Well, first, weren't we standing
there? Way in the distance.
Were we standing there, and then there were all the birds. Which order was this in? All the birds were going nuts, and all of a sudden everything was dead quiet.
Yeah, it's like if somebody hit the mute button.
It was in this valley up on Mount Shasta, and there was a ridge where we saw the ship later. But I mean, the birds were going completely crazy in the middle of the day, middle of the afternoon, and all of a sudden, quiet.
And then also, very important, I saw these two hikers going towards us, while I believe contact was already beginning. So I believe that we were already sectioned off in that reality. And this guy who led the hikers up the path that would eventually lead to us, he kind of hit something where he was like, let's turn around here. And I'm like, they're doing that. I don't know if you saw those hikers but below, and they all, for no apparent reason.
What I'm seeing as you say that is like not just a force field, but we were in a different reality at that point.
We're already in a different blend. Like they can basically cut out reality on where you are. You still think you're on a mountain when you're kind of partially on a ship, but you're not realizing that because they don't want you to be scared. So they were sending anything that was coming in our direction, and tourists would hike there all the time. They would turn around. They would just walk away from the field. They would clear the field. So I heard this interdimensional phase shifting coming from way across the valley, like this. So I was like, okay, they're coming. So what was your perception? How did you perceive them coming?
I don't know if I felt it coming. I just remember a lot of my memories from that moment were kind of, I don't know, felt like altered for a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
And then what I remember, because when you said that sound, I remembered that sound. But I just remember like a ceiling above us almost, with like the ship just being there all of a sudden. So you tell your part of how they came in.
So basically, I heard that the sound. We all have different perceptions. I will break that down also, where people explain on Mount Shasta, I saw it in person like a mile away, I didn't. Or I heard a case where a woman has contact with somebody on the ground and a woman standing next to her can't see her. You're already cut out of that reality. And they can do that, like technology that you can't even imagine. If people want to make contact and have interdimensional experience, be clear, have the intent, and go to Mount Shasta, and you'll be changed.
Super clear.
Yeah,
that's the big thing.
So basically, what she describes is the ship. I saw basically this blip coming towards us, and this blip was kind of see-through, like a magnifying glass, and also cloudy, misty, like milk glass or fogged glass, and it would park over us. What would you say? 30 feet? 20 feet, they're very close.
I would say even 20.
Yeah, they were like super close.
And it felt like, as I think back, it felt like almost like pressure, because the pressure had changed, so it was almost like pressure coming down on us, but it wasn't uncomfortable, it was just a noticeable difference in the atmosphere and the surroundings.
So basically, I saw this blip parking over us. All of us kind of a little bit in a trance, but not in a scary way. We were kind of like more in of euphoria. We felt very good.
We were all very much connected, third eye connected, it felt like.
And we needed very little food after that meeting, I've noticed. We were so charged that for the 4 days after, I ate like little and drank water because I felt replenished. So here's the deal. We were sitting down, and I saw this peculiar insect with either landing on your knee or mine.
It was mine because you were like,
yeah, and I said, that's a camera. And then you said, can you just please, you didn't even move anything, and you looked at it and said, can you just please remove that? It kind of feels awkward. And as if by command, this thing kind of looked at her and then flew, and they kind of observed us with whatever drone system they have, and they looked at us. So I felt they were also standing around us, but I couldn't see them. Which I was struggling with that, and you know, the problem is third eye and heart opening. We're not fully there yet. Then you said something about they giving us downloads. Remember that?
Yes, and I don't know if I even had my eyes closed, but I kept seeing, for a moment I did, right? And
this is actually what you did. Like, I will demonstrate this, like this.
Yeah.
And then all of us got into it.
And I got symbol after symbol after symbol after symbol. It's kind of like your light language that you write.
Yeah.
And it was just download symbols.
So we were sitting there receiving downloads. The ship was parked there for a while. I don't know if we lost 2 hours because I didn't even have a camera, nor did I think about recording them, because in that moment in time, sometimes you realize it's not about taping them. This is an experience individuated for you, and you get downloads, specific codes for your DNA and activation codes, because you're here to do something. And that's for every human being. The message that I keep getting over and over is, and I heard this from another person also, basically, even, you know, 8 years ago moving to Sedona, they said, take the lead and we will match your efforts. And this is the constant what you have from the good ones. I don't know what's with the bad ones. I don't even believe that the bad ones are here. I think we have bad memory that's triggering us and that is misleading us, because I think the grid that's around Earth, which is another video, it's not quarantine, it's just the lower dimensionals can't even interject anymore. That party is over. That is memory. Like the war is over, Second World War is over, it's not happening. We have memories, yes, but it's not happening anymore. So back to the encounter. So the ship was hovering, but it was like not like they were hovering. It's like, you know, in a computer program and something is like a standstill, the ship was just sit there, like frozen.
It was like, it was just like a plate sitting on a shelf, really. And it was just right above us. And I saw colors of it, like what it really looked like. I don't know if you...
I saw iridescent rainbowy reflection. Like I couldn't really, like the color was also not earthly. So it's in layman terms like a rainbow silver egg.
I saw silver, and then underneath it was almost like a black and copper. So to me it was much more like 3D ship looking. Yes.
We saw also, like, mind you, this was not etherical or in dream state or how psychics go up to Mount Shasta and you, in your mind, you imagine you're in Telos. We had physical contact. And same thing when people go to Telos, there are physical tales where people physically are shown inside the mountain. That's actually where we operate. Is that when it gets real? So how did you see the ship with 2 eyes, or was it weird to look at it? Because I had problems honing in with my consciousness, even see. It's like, basically, I felt like one eye was like not seeing and the other eye was seeing it. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Like I couldn't really hone in, as if my lens wasn't adjusted, but it was about the conscious lens somehow for me. Did you see it steady? Because I was like, wow, this is weird. Like what reality am I looking at? Like it didn't make any sense, you know?
I think they've shifted some of what happened in my brain so I could process it all, but it was definitely in my third eye, and if I looked up I could see more through third eye, but I know that was an altered thing because we were seeing it in 3D. I think they really did come through to 3D, and so I could see the underside of the ship, and I felt also like we were in it, so it was all
It's kind of like we were on the ship, but we were not on a ship.
They were making us feel comfortable, but still feeling like the mountain.
Yeah, they kept they call it holographic inserts, and then now have mastered that. What the lower dimensionals did not quite have that, you know, down, knowing how reactive we are. So they're very cautious with our consciousness. And back then we were so in union. Unfortunately, not everybody made it back into their designated areas as starseeds where they need to be going, because it's complicated. I mean, I've been on Mount Shasta with a crew, and half of those people went completely in a different direction, which I was told by upstairs is to be expected, that the consistency and who's your friend and whatnot can all go haywire if you do not have your shadow integrated. Those who have that will, like we, be good friends for life and sit together and experience that, and there's more coming. So we received the download sitting there, and then when they took off, it was kind of like, and then it's kind of like, it's like they turned the light off and you couldn't see the ship, and I'm like, holy shit, where did they go? And then Elise said something, could you make yourself visible one more time before you leave? Remember that?
That's where I was talking about that ridge that was on the other side of the valley.
Yeah.
And it was a silver disc.
Yeah. Remember the 2 mountains? When we looked to the left from where we were sitting, and that must have been like 30 miles or something, and within a fraction of a second, they jumped from this coordinate to that coordinate between the mountains, so we would have like, they were pretty smart. They can read you. They knew our visual coordination that we would capture them would be right there, and you would see this, remember? The silver disc, and it would hover like this, and then they said, this is not the last time we have contacted you, we will be back. And this was a very glorious contact experience that we had that I wanted to share with you. And they keep telling me, come back to Shasta, and they also say that physical contact is possible, just depends on your mind state. So I'm at a level where I don't care what science says or what the old paradigm believes or does not believe. We all, you and I and many more, have seen it in physical form. It was there, it was experienced, and yeah, it changed our life.
Completely.
You know?
Completely.
Did you get anything else back there?
Do you want me to? You were just reading my mind. Jesse and I went on a hike. I think it was the day after or something, and we went through that same spot. It was further down the trail, and we were sitting on a rock, kind of like we are here. And all of a sudden, and we're like, "Are you seeing it? Are you seeing this?" It was like the mist, like you were talking about when the ships came in. And it was just like a white mist. I really liken it to the Lord of the Rings, where all the kings came out of the mountain, the mist.
The ghosts.
Well, yeah, the ghosts. And when Aragorn he went into the mountain pass to call them back to service. And they all were coming out of the mist. There were so many figures, and very like a royal feeling, like Atlantean, Lemurian, probably more Lemurian, but it was just all of the like memories and things from that time when we were back in those times came back. And really, I mean, it was figures coming out of the mist, and there was no mistaking it, and Jesse and I both saw the same thing. So
you had basically physical encounters with things that took place, and that's where I'm operating very hard, that we got to get out of virtual space. Too many people, you know, some run around, yeah, I have a 72-dimensional self. And you know, it's preposterous to talk on that dimensional level, because if you were in that dimension, you weren't even here to mention anything, because it's so far up, there's nothing to prove anymore. You have left the ego and the wise and places. You're merged with consciousness at that level.
Yeah,
there's nothing to mention
no
here.
Ego.
So right now we're here, and we're dealing with the body, and we're dealing with the ascension and making it happen here. So I realized we are conscious gateways, that if some of us have it, we can bring it in, and the others will basically sit with us and experience that it can take place. So to share a little bit from my second Shasta trip is, I've photographed a footprint on the parking lot, which I've shown in a video that I took down for several reasons of people not being, you know, in their path and where they wanted to be, and some didn't even want to be in the video. So I said, okay, I respect their privacy, and I took that video off. And which I wanted to add, that I had a Sasquatch experience where I was on the mountain. We must have been 11,000 feet up. That's when you thought we were gone missing. That day when, we kind of went into another dimension. That's a whole nother story.
We were in all different dimensions on Shasta.
Yeah. Shasta is multidimensional, so it means somebody can walk next to you, and all of a sudden, where did Heather go? Heather? And you'll be like, holy shit. So, and this would happen all the time, and we would laugh like, oh, I must have lost them at the hike. No, we were split multidimensional. We were all over the place. And I walked over there, and I found pieces of ruins, which are still up there. I went up there the second time, pieces of a wall, roads, blocks that are cut 90 degree. One had a symbol in it, and there was also an invisible city that I saw. When I went in that dimension, I could see the city. When you're not in that dimension, you see a rock formation. You have to really, really concentrate hard. I will go back there with a drone to film that front where that was. I lost the drone, I think dimensionally. I had a drone, and I flew it up. And my computer said, lost connection with the aircraft. Meaning I lost GPS satellite and I lost remote control. My thing was gone. And then a voice in my head says, get up and walk. So I walked 200 yards up the rock, you know, and it was in the line of sight, but somehow it was just not there. And all of a sudden, aircraft attacked it. Out of nowhere, it was just popped back up. And I had just enough battery to make it back. Like I had like 30 seconds battery juice left when that thing landed in my hand. So we had experience of stuff just disappearing in weird and wacky ways. And when I went over it with my camera, something weird had happened on the tape. It glitched when it disappeared. And when the second time I looked at the tape, the glitch is gone. As if somebody repaired that tape for me nothing to find anymore. And my tapes do not glitch. When I film, I have no mistakes. So I know exactly what's going on.
And they drain back, they take your technology to a different dimension, different frequency. They drain the battery or they use it up over there and send it back, and then they do things like that where they take footage away because
they basically control. Contact is fully controlled, make no mistake. You're not taking pictures because you caught them. They fully 1000% control that. We had that phone battery dead and the metaphysical experience is over and the phone battery is full. I understand when somebody has an old phone and the battery dies, you know, we have all of these rational explanations why the ego would not want it to be true, which is the Anunnaki and GMO resistance programming within our bodies we have to overcome to resist that this is there. And we are from the future, we're not from Earth. And science at some point will find that out. And basically what I've gotten, and maybe to wrap this up you have something to add to that, our future versions desperately trying to make contact with us to set the record straight that we don't go the route of an unwanted timeline. Earth is ascending, but people are struggling with a warlike memory, still going the wrong path, and that makes the ascension process harder. So again, take the lead in what you're supposed to do metaphysically, and they will match your efforts. Like what happened to you the minute you decided to not work a regular job and get into the metaphysical jobs.
Full time, finally, and all the doors are opening, and there are still tests all the time. If you know, you can be in your full power and stand up for what is right for yourself and for other people, and then the doors keep opening. And so it is a constant vigilance, really, to stay in that frequency. And yeah, the doors have continued to open, and the resistance in my life has all but stopped.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah, thank you for sharing this. I wanted to share this with my people. So remember, bring it back to the body, bring it back to the experience, make it real, and show others that this can be experienced as a physical experience. It's not made up. It's not that me and Heather queued up, let's make up a story, because, you know, the rest of our families would think, yeah, you're seeing ships in interdimensional craft, whatever.
Yeah, I don't talk about this with.
Yeah, so with muggles,
normals.
with muggles, the normals, the mundanes, or the nomads, we're not sharing that because there's resistance, and we're not here to convert, like Dolores Cannon said. Only those that are in resonance will have an easier way to be on that path. And on that note, we will see you most definitely on the flip side. Peace.